Hello and welcome to Pitch Bleak, the true creative crime podcast. I'm Hayden Bevis, and joining me, as always, is Chris Kennett.
Hello, Hayden. It is an honour to work alongside you.
Chris, this is the first episode. What are we trying to do with this show?
Well, Hayden, each and every episode we will be investigating the untimely demise of a creative concept, a work of art that was cruelly and suspiciously cut down in its prime. Could be a TV show or a film script that was strangled by producers. Could be a novel that starved because of a publisher's neglect. Could be a piece of musical theatre that just really sucked. Whatever it is and however it died, we'll be piecing the clues together in order to identify the killer. So to do that, we're going to be interviewing the victim, the creator in question, to try and uncover the grisly details of what went so horribly wrong for them and their work, and find out who's to blame.
So I got this meeting and it was a Zoom call because at this point everyone was still working from home. And I was off to a flyer the moment the man appeared on the screen. So he's like, "Hi, I'm insert very important man at Endemol Shine's name." I said, "Oh, hi, how you going?" And I said, "Are you trying to catch a serial killer behind you? That's bonkers." Because behind him there was a whiteboard with like writing and, you know, when the jaded ex-cop is trying to restore his reputation, so there's all string and pins.
The crazy wall.
Totally. It's the first thing I saw and I mentioned it and he's looking at me like, "Oh." I'm like, "Behind you. Looks like you've lost your mind and you're trying to get your ex-wife back." and he was like, "No, this is our literally their unironic think tank.
Oh, wow.
Where no idea is a bad idea." And they had I don't know what they call it, a brainstorm or a thought storm or something like that, something. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so we do a bit of chit-chat, which I'm really bad at. And then he's like, "Okay, so tell us about your idea." And I said, "Okay, well, Lonely Hearts Club." And I read through the pitch and I got to the part about maths. And I said, "Look, to be honest with you, maths is just, it's not good. It really brings out the worst in humanity. People are watching it as a sport. There are these women who clearly have been mistreated in the past and the bar is so low for the men. And honestly, the people who make this show, I don't know how they sleep at night. I don't know how they produce this show. I just know I never want to make television ever with the people that make maths." And I think you can probably figure out the next thing that the man, after I'd called him a jaded ex-cop / sad ex-husband, we make maths, Em. You would think maybe I would Google something like that. You know, you just think this is maybe something I would be across, but no. And I just said to him, "Oh, I'm sorry, but it's shit, and I'm sorry." And he's like, "Well, you know, it makes us a lot of..." Yeah, I often do. Also the name of another show I could make. Just me making terrible decisions and doubling down on them. I just said to him, "I mean, yeah, I can't lie to you. It's really like the antithesis of everything I believe in as a human." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, well, it's not for everyone. But it's very popular." And I'm like, "Yeah, cool. And so I just said to him, "Do you want me to go? Is this like..." Because I'm autistic, I don't have the ability to do the whole 3-level conversation and pretend that thing didn't happen, because that thing is now just like a big turd in the middle of my face and I can't look around it. So we kind of awkwardly chatted about it a bit more. And then I kind of got my mojo back. It seemed like he'd forgiven me and he was like, "You're such a great talent and it'd be great to find you a vehicle." And we were like, "Yeah." And then we started talking about his kids and I really felt like, well, I fell over mid-race, but fuck, I got up again. I'm going to finish. It's going to be okay. And the meeting went for 50 minutes in the end.
Oh, shit.
So I'm like, great. And then he's like, "Okay, well, we'll reach out again once we've got some notes on the show." And I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for the notes on the show. I never heard from that man ever again.
You say the date started falling away.
Yeah.
What do you mean by
Smaller
that?
venues started pulling out of doing the show.
And what would they do? They just email and say, can't do it anymore.
Yeah, so they would talk to critical stages and just say, we want a comedy, really. I mean, this is what I've heard, and maybe they're just being very kind. They wanted a comedy, a bums on seats,
Did they think they were getting a comedy?
Well,
and then somebody's giving them the script and going, hang on,
I know.
there's no banana peels in this.
But you
Where are the songs?
You do write comedy in your stuff.
And I know, look, they tried so hard to save it. They did. I mean, they tell me they did and I believe them. They've got no reason to lie to me. But they said, it has comedic moments. It's not heavy. There are heavy themes and it makes people think and might challenge your audience. But they said, no, we just want something light and fun.
What does that look like, though? What does light and fun for regional look like? Is it? And I'm like, are we talking about
play Baby Elephant Walk as the audience comes in or something? Get them.
Is that kind of the vibe? Like,
I feel like it's really limiting what audiences want and what they think they can handle. I think it's quite patronising, isn't it, to say, well, you're a regional audience, so you just want Mamma Mia. Or I feel like any audience would get something out of the show.
This idea that we want a comedy, audiences want comedy right now. Was it a COVID-related thing?
I think it's COVID.
Everybody's bummed out. We just want
Yes.
people want to have a night out and they want to have a laugh and they don't want to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to think, Katie.
Don't make them
Stop
think.
making me think.
And they want something they know. I think that could
right.
be part of it too. Like, who am I? No one knows who I am. But if they can see Singing in the Rain, there's a name that we know. That's fun. We've seen that before. Let's see it again. Wedding Singer. I don't know, those sort of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's really frustrating.
It is frustrating.
We get to our offices. It's two separate buildings with a car park in the middle. 2-story buildings. One of them is engulfed in flames.
Jeez.
Engulfed in flames.
Like a film sort of like
exactly to the point that we are, where is everybody in that building?
Shit.
So it is knockoff time. So that's good. But we are aware that we were setting up for this sketch shoot. So there was a person who was setting up the sketch shoot. Plus, there's an editor, right? So we find the editor is outside on the street.
Oh, good.
That's a good sign. He has in his hand a VHS tape. A VHS tape. This is how far back it is.
Yeah.
Because the fire has broken out at the front of the building where the sketch was being shot. As a side story, the person who was setting up that sketch shoot had finished early for the day and had gone home and was walking her dog. We did not know this. Everyone is calling her, going, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? She has not got her phone with her because she's out walking the dog because she knocked off early. And we're all like, oh, dear God, she's still in there. Turns out she's fine. She finally calls back going, I'm just walking the dog. Just calm down. And we're like, there is no more building left. Where are you? So no one else is in the building to alert the editor to what's happening until smoke alarms and actual smoke are coming in. And he's at the back of the building and has to make his way out. To his credit, his first thought is, I have just hit save.
Oh, my God.
All caps S on this edit. What do? I am just going to run a VHS copy that I had in the machine. I'm going to do a quick dub of the show and run out because otherwise there is no show. So the only copy of the show is a very shitty VHS copy of the unedited version that we had. The cut version is in the system. It is now a melted pile of nothing.
This one is called Tooth Becomes You. Now, Chris, are you aware of dentists?
What are you saying?
All right. Have you got a perfect set of mouth?
What's happened?
Like, have you had teeth pulled? Have you had wisdom teeth pulled or?
No, I have not had teeth pulled.
I had a wisdom tooth removed, and at the end, I was like, "Oh, do I get the tooth?" And they were like, "What? No, no." So I didn't get my tooth back.
Is there a legal issue there?
I don't know. Is it my tooth? It's my tooth.
Not once it comes out. It's anybody's. So if I can get a tooth out of your mouth now, it's mine. And obviously, if I'm in the process of trying to get it out, there's a legal problem because that's, serious assault, right? Well, once it's out, I'm scot-free. It's mine.
Yes. So when I went home and I explained to my wife, I was like, oh, they didn't let me keep my tooth. She's like, what were you going to do with it? Like, what? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, I just felt like it was mine.
Yeah.
And I should have had it. And then I was thinking, if I had have brought it home and just left it around, like that would have extremely pissed off my wife. It's like, why is this tooth here in the kitchen or something like that? I'm like,
in the butter. Hayden.
I thought it was the best place for it.
Yeah.
But then I was like, actually, what would be an idea if my wife had have been like, can you get rid of the tooth? In my head, I wouldn't have thrown it in the bin. Like, I would have thought it needed a something. And then I was like, I would have buried it. And then I'm like, so the idea is, man comes home with tooth from dentist, is told this is a stupid idea, you shouldn't bring it out, throw it out. For whatever reason, decides to bury it in the backyard.
Okay.
And the next morning, a fully grown version of himself has now appeared at the back door, which was the tooth now buried. And now there is two of them.
Before we proceed any further.
Yes.
Can I just check?
No.
Because we've run into this problem before.
Yes.
You haven't put the number 2 into tooth because there's now 2 of the person.
I had not thought of that. So it's in the same vein as multiplicity or another one of those type of things, which is fine. Just a different spin.
I like the line, it's in the vein of multiplicity. so let me guess, it's about more than one guy? Well, yeah, okay. There's a lot of things going on in multiplicity. That's not the only thing, but that's the main.
Yes, this is what I'm doing.
Yes, it's about a bunch of guys. Now I know I can make more guys out of teeth. You know somebody else is losing a tooth. You know it's going to end up, that'll be the twist at the end. Like somebody gets all their teeth punched out or something and then there's, 20 guys. This isn't where you wanted to go, is it?
No, well, I instantly went to being like, if I had another one of me, how can we afford to buy a house? And like, what happens to our insurance premiums?
Is this so much a pitch as it is just something like you're wondering about, what if that happened?
But yeah, it's a pitch.
Rather than a story. It's just kind of a thought experiment.
But the story would be more about the practical element of having another version of you.
Yeah.
If you knocked on your own back door.
Yeah. Does he sprout? What happens?
Well, I don't know.
You don't see that bit?
See that. You just see the man naked at the back door. And then I imagine if there is a partner, they would be like, we can't have this. That person's got to move out.
Yeah.
And then they would have to find a house and you'd have to help him find a house.
Yeah.
How do you practically get a lease or buy a house for this other version of you? They're going to have to get a job, all that stuff, right?
Wow.
That is what I want.
Okay. Look, it's high concept.
Yeah.
But then quickly dives into mundane stuff about who's paying the mortgage. So, exciting opening. There's got to be a twist payoff at the end that really comes back to the teeth or making more guys or how do we get rid of the guy? I've got to go back to the dentist and have this. There's got to be some sort of quest element here.
Okay. And maybe it is like, let's rob the dentist.
But both of them. Yes. They have to work together.
And in fact, that's a better title for it. Let's rob the dentist.
Is the main character's name Rob? You could just pitch like it's called Let's Rob the Dentist, right? The main character's name is Rob and it's about 2 guys that team up to rob the dentist. You could just tell this whole thing and then 10 minutes into this you go, oh, did I mention the other guy was grown from a tooth that came out of the first. Oh no, I didn't mention that. Well, it's okay because it's like that's backstory. I'm mainly focused on the robbery part now. Whoa, hold up! I feel like that's kind of important. No, it's not really. I mean, yes, he's an exact clone, and they share memories and stuff, but that just makes them better at the robbery.
Doesn't matter. Do they rob the dentist?
Yeah. Dentists have got a lot of cash on the premises. They got drugs.
All right. So
it's a heist. It's a heist movie. And they're both named Rob because they're the same guy.